Hi everyone, welcome to another video where I will be talking about tips and tricks in the overall process for university supplementary apps. If you haven't already checked out my first one on IVEY and Queen's Commerce, do so right now. In this video, I will be talking about all the other major business programs such as UBC Sauder, T Rotman, Schulich, and more. So stay tuned. Okay, so first UBC Sauder, which is a very competitive program. The overall average to get into it, a competitive average is above a 92%, so you should try to aim for probably like 95% or higher. As well as the application, the supplementary for this basically consists of video questions as well as written questions in an interview style. So what you want to do is make sure that you are showcasing your achievements and your experiences outside of school, outside of classroom, and to show that you're really trying to showcase your personality. Are you someone who's deeply involved with music, with sports? Are you passionate about sustainability? Are you passionate about volunteering, contributing to the environment? You want to give them a good sense of who you are outside of the school. And it doesn't have to be something major, such as I traveled halfway across the country to help these kids and overcome like poverty. It can be something very simple, but you really want to highlight the meaningful impact that you did and what it means for you, what you learned. And these are characteristics that can make your answer stand out from other applicants. And really just think about anything you did and how it really contributed to you and how you can write about it. Before the interview, write out all like some meaningful situational things that you think you can use that you think really exemplified a characteristic of yours. So for example, write one situation where you think you really demonstrated leadership skills, right? One where you think you overcame a big challenge, and then you can draw on these during the interview. Some questions from previous years is, for example, give an instant from your life that showcases your leadership. Tell me about a time when you lacked the resources you needed to complete a task but ended up finishing it. Give me an example of a time when you were successful in communicating with a difficult person or circumstance. What are the areas where you want to improve? Give me a specific example of a time where you used good judgment and logic in solving a problem. Okay, so for T Rotman, what you have to first do is log into your UFT applicant portal, and then you'll do a video interview that will consist of a mix of verbally speaking questions as well as written responses. And 2 of your questions will be given in advance. So for me, the 2 questions, one of them was, please list 2 activities I'll link the 2 activities I was given in advance below. But basically for this, what I would say is that try to think before you speak, because you do want what you say to be said in a very organized manner and fashion. So before you speak, just take like 10 seconds to think about what you want to say, how you're going to connect them to each other, because a big part of the UFT interview is to see your communication skills. Okay, so I had to change my location again for the 3rd time. Hopefully I don't have to change it again. But as I was saying, other things that I would say that I would really stress for this is to justify your responses with specific examples in your life and detailed examples, strong ones that really showcase whatever they're asking, as well as to showcase your enthusiasm and your why they should accept you, and really just connect it to like maybe a club you want to join on campus, to a vision you see yourself fulfilling by attending the school, a teacher that you really want to meet. These are things that are going to make the university think, okay, she really wants to come here, and she's probably going to actually accept her offer if we give it to her. Also, try to use strong word choice. You don't need 2 words back to back like she ran and she slide. Just use one to keep it simple and also to keep it concise to save time, because you do have a limited amount of time for the video recording. In addition, a competitive, and usually the average that they accept for this is mid to high 80s. If you have anything above that, that's even better, but at a minimum, mid to high 80s. Okay, so also you have 5 questions in total. There will be 2 written ones with 20 minutes to respond to each one to type on the spot. And then for the video questions, the speaking ones, you have 60 seconds to prepare and then 60 seconds to actually record. Okay, so next is the Schulich School of Business at York University. And to be competitive, Ontario High School or any applicant should have a high 80s, low 90s average. That should be what you're aiming for. As well as what they do is first you submit something called your leadership profile, and then you do a video interview, very similar to the UFT one. Basically, for the York leadership interview, you get this beforehand, and then you'll be asked to list a maximum of 5 extracurricular activities. It basically is something like activity 1, activity title, your role, learning outcome, and then there's a 1,000 character limit on the learning outcome, and then this is repeated for like a maximum of 5 different activities. I would say, if possible, try to write down 5 activities, because try to write down all 5 activities, because this is going to just bring more depth to you as a person and allow the mission team to get to know you better. So for the learning outcome, the biggest thing I would suggest is to not be bland, not be boring. Don't say something like, oh, I learned communication skills, I learned leadership skills, whatever. Try to really think outside the box and think of something that's more personal. You can use the STAR method again, which the situation, the task, the action, and then the results, but really focus on the last parts. You don't want to spend too much time explaining what the club you're in is, and that can be like 1 sentence. Your learning outcome, you can talk about how your perspectives were broadened, how you saw a big impact with your actions, how you were able to experience new ideas, new challenges, and how this helped you grow as a person, how this influenced you, how this inspired you, and other things like that. Then for the video interview, what I would really say, and also for T Rotman, is to do your research on the school beforehand. Know some of their top clubs, know some key characteristics, just because a very popular question that they ask in these video interviews is, why do you want to attend Schulich? Why do you want to attend T Rotman? Also, why do you want to pursue business? These very simple questions you have to be ready for. Like, you have to show you have done your research. Also, you really want to pull on your experiences, your skills. Try not to just talk about working in a group project for your collaboration skills. Try to pull on something else that will differentiate you as a person. And the most important thing is to stay calm, to give specific examples, and to make sure that you actually know what the question is and that you're answering it. A lot of people, because of the time, it can be very stressful. They start ranting on and off. They don't actually answer the question, and that really showcases a lack of communication skills. So really try to avoid that. So basically, I think the questions I got were, do you work better in a team or in a group setting? Why do you want to pursue business? That was one of the questions. It asked me something like, describe a time when you showed leadership. I was asked that. And also there was another question about the steps I took to solve something. Okay, so for AFM, what I recall I had to do was you fill out something called AIF, which is this it's almost like a resume. It's not really an essay. It's a bunch of small question and answers and fill in the blank kind of things. So I'll put a screenshot on the screen if I can. But basically, the first question is the reasons for choosing your program at Waterloo. You write about it, a short little answer. Then you list out your extracurricular activities, you list your employment backgrounds, fill out your education info, and then you fill out your current courses that you took and your grades for each. And you also have to explain if you took any courses outside of your regular day school. That's after you fill out that AIF. You will then do a video interview. I think it was 3 questions verbally. You speak for all of them. They even give you the questions beforehand. Another important thing is try not to make it sound like you're reading off your laptop or whatever paper when you do answer it. You want it to sound very natural and flowy because the 3 questions are given to you beforehand. For the AF, what I would say is, first, if you're in grade 11 or if you still have this option, try to take all your courses within high school if possible, because Waterloo, I don't know why, but it's not like they look down upon, but they just dislike if you have to retake a course in the summer. But if you do have to retake a course, really try to justify it. Another thing is they really like it if you take courses ahead of time. Basically, if you have finished a lot of the hard courses early on, because they do ask you to list out all of your courses. And then this basically shows them that you're someone who is good at managing their time and is also able to balance these marks with your ECs. Some general tips I can give for the video interview in the AF is to really, if possible, try to mix up the ECs you're putting. So not just all clubs, maybe a little bit of volunteer work outside of school, maybe a part-time job, maybe a sports team. Just try to mix it up to show them that you have different interests and hobbies. And also for your video interview, again, just speak coherently, stay calm, answer the question well, and just try to really sell yourself. You know, you don't need to be bragging, but you shouldn't be too humble about it either. It's a fine line to walk in between. And also do try to use statistics when explaining your results to really just back it up, and also to really highlight ways in which this experience was a very special and meaningful, and it just made you learn and change so much. Really just accentuate that. Even if it didn't really make you change that much, just think of a way it could have. Okay. So yeah, I will try to link a doc with any other possible questions I can find or think of down below in the description, and good luck with all your applications. Bye everyone!